Welcome, everybody. So nice to see you all. My name is Venkat Ramakrishnan. I am the president and CEO of a company called Newbird AI. Uh, who we are, we're not in the business of birds, but you're going to see a few birds today. We're in the business of redefining how production infrastructure should be run. And here's our story. You know, how many of you manage applications in production? In cloud, well, a whole bunch of hands. Well, welcome to the club. As an engineer, I've managed production infrastructure at scale, and I know the pain. There are countless hours engineers lose sleep over resolving issues or getting pages at 2 a.m. in the morning or during a family dinner or during a weekend soccer game with the kids. The 2 a.m. page or 3 a.m. war room is still the most common occurrence in enterprise infrastructure. If you're running infrastructure in production, you know this, right? You all agree with me? Awesome. This is because the production ops, how we run infrastructure, how we manage them, is still very reactive. We wait for something to happen, and then when that happens, everybody jumps in to resolve it. But unfortunately, like many life events, most of the disasters happen when you least predict them. Many companies report that they have had outages without even having a single alert fired. About 78% of the companies we polled. And almost always, on an average, most engineering teams spend about 28 hours troubleshooting an issue. That's a lot of time. I've been in many of these Zoom calls myself as an engineer. I have seen some of our customers dealing with other products go through these issues, especially when they lack visibility into their entire infrastructure. It is painful. And if you actually look at the emotional toil, the emotional cost, the labor cost, and the economic cost of it is staggering. I've seen companies waste hundreds of millions of dollars because they are highly reactive when it comes to their infrastructure. They're waiting for a disaster to hit, and then they go try to resolve it, dragging a whole bunch of people into the process. This is because also the enterprise infrastructure is complex. If you take a typical enterprise infrastructure today, it's 10s and 20s and 30 layers in there. There is cloud, there is VMs, there is networking, there is storage, there is security layers, and then there's a whole bunch of mid-level apps that run. There is middleware. It is an extremely complex environment that is very brittle. We see, if you go into a typical enterprise infrastructure, or even any infrastructure, there are hundreds of alerts firing all the time. And many of the people don't know what it is all about. And about 40% of the incidents today have really no root cause. And every war room has about 8 engineers getting pulled in. A war room is where you pull in all your engineers and you tell them you cannot leave it until you fix the issue, right? On an average, it pulls 8 engineers in. But this is a common occurrence. It's like a household issue in every enterprise. So how do we resolve it? We took a stance that these kind of issues cannot only be resolved by reactive operations, but we need to get proactive. So we're releasing a revolutionary update to our ASRE agent. It's called Falcon. And here comes the Falcon. All right. He's my boy. I have him in my garage usually. I let him out today. All right. Oh, okay, all right. All right, say hi to my little buddy here. And our new AI engine is almost as fast as this Falcon. Now that I can take my gloves off. Thank you. Thank you so much. That was awesome. And this is our new Bird's production ops agent, which we are announcing today. So when it comes being an AI agent and being reactive, yeah, of course, the first step, or the most common known step, is to go identify the alert, find the root cause, and resolve it. So that's the resolve part you see. But if you're not thinking in a revolutionary way, if you're not looking at completely disrupting the industry, everybody would do what's the most obvious thing? We'll pass a bunch of logs into an LLM and we'll do a root cause analysis and give it to an engineer or a team of engineers who have to spend hours to understand what the root cause is. So we simplified that with our previous version. But we wanted to go a step ahead. We said, what if we can actually prevent these issues from happening? Prevention is better than cure, right? How do we prevent these issues from happening? And when we prevent them, how do we keep it from never happening again? How do we optimize? So we came up with our PRO strategy. So our production ops agent does prevent. It helps you prevent your issues. It helps you see ahead of the curve. It helps you see what's going on in your infrastructure, identify the hotspots, resolve them. But also it helps you optimize it for cost, for performance, for reliability. And that's what we're announcing today. So what does prevent mean? I can go and come in here and say, you know what, we're going to prevent all your issues. We're taking a methodical, opinionated approach towards prevention. The first step in prevention is to predict degradation. What are the blind spots in your infrastructure? And how is it going to degrade over time? What is our knowledge of these kind of enterprise infrastructure, how they degrade, which I'll talk about it when it comes to our architecture. The other thing is to understand what's happening with alerts. If you go look at an enterprise infrastructure, if you go look at the logging and monitoring systems, alerts are, people get a ton of alerts. They're drowning in them. And alert fatigue is actually a very popular term that people hate to say, right? And deliver alert intelligence, basically to teach the agent what to look for, what to prioritize and what not to prioritize. And start proactive investigations. Not wait for something to happen, but like, for example, if you had an expert engineer, and I wasn't a very good engineer, but I had worked with other expert engineers before, and they would actually start looking at what's going on in their infrastructure, what's going on in the code base. You hire a great engineer, the first thing they would look at is that, I'm going to look at your entire code base and understand what's going on here. Same thing, you hire an expert platform engineer, a cloud ops engineer, an SRE, they would understand what's going on, and proactively investigate and optimize the infrastructure. That's what we do. And of course, the biggest challenge is config drift. Start looking for those. Because many times the software versions are out of date, the certificates haven't been rotated, the secrets are out of date, and they're all drifting away from what should be the norm. So these are a few things we do to start looking for preventive measures to protect your infrastructure. And of course, when an issue hits, we resolve them rapidly. Right? I can tell you, and I'll talk about it a little bit more, we have seen in customer environments, now we can resolve an issue, we can triage an alert and resolve it within a matter of minutes. It used to be like, for a human, it takes hours. For others, there are like, if you have a bunch of logs, you can throw it at an LLM and you can continue to query it. It'll take you maybe tens of minutes, 30, 40 minutes, but we resolve it in a couple of minutes. And of course, we continue to reduce toil, right? How do you resolve it is don't let the same issue happen again. So we deliver that fix. There's a human in the loop where the fix can be applied, and we are continuously improving it now to deliver the fix autonomously and integrate with your GitOps and other coding infrastructure, with your coding agents, with your review agents, so that fix can actually be deployed in production with confidence. And when it comes to optimization, this is where many of the customers have told me it's great. You guys are predicting issues, preventing issues, but I want to understand what is the baseline of my infrastructure. I want to be able to go in and say, like I would talk to my engineer and say, how is my production looking today? How is my cost looking today? Am I spending too much in cloud? Am I spending too much with LLMs? Or do I have security holes? Is my compliance out of date? Am I still within the regulatory guardrails that the security team has put in? So people want to understand that and start optimizing. And that is what we do proactively in the background, 24/7, when you deploy Nubird's Production Ops agent. And we just stop just there. Of course, all the UI is great. It's an agent that runs in the background. We want to give you and your developers, your engineers, something that they feel close to. So we're also announcing and introducing Nubird AI Desktop, which can run side by side with a Claude desktop or with your Cursor desktop. So you get the same experience. It can, our Nubird AI comes with our own MCP server. We integrate with other MCP servers as well, so it integrates with your agentic workflow. So you can now, your developers can write code, but they can also troubleshoot their applications in production, resolve the issues, and drive the quality up without ever having to leave their command line interface. Good so far? But we haven't stopped there. We're also introducing Falcon Claw, right? It's based on OpenClaw Skills Hub. It is a curated set of skills that we have brought in into our own Skills Hub that you can build your own skill. We have also built the common skills that are tools that are commonly used in enterprise infrastructure, so you can extend our AI agent for your workflows, right? Because most commonly you go into an enterprise, there's always teams struggling with production issues, and they want to be resolved, and there's a team that's trying to build an agent for them, right? And I'll tell you why it's very difficult to build a reliable AI agent that you can trust in production. But we want to open that up for those teams that build other agents in an enterprise. So we are bringing an OpenClaw-based Skills Hub into our infrastructure that your application teams, your SREs, your platform engineers, your agentic teams can extend our agent with specific skills. And that is our offer, our launch in this show. And with that, here's my challenge. You should photograph this. We offer the 555 guarantee. And it's not a marketing spin. For every time, it will only take you 5 minutes to onboard Nubird agent into your infrastructure. That's what I call as dial tone. And then it takes you only less than 5 minutes to actually see value. That's what I call as dial tone to value. If you deploy Nubird and you have us hooked up to your metrics, events, logs, and alerts, as popularly called as MELT, and if you can plug us on top of all of your telemetry sources, all of your data sources, we can deliver value to you within 5 minutes. That's the power of our AI agent. And we can resolve any critical issue. We can show you the remediation resolution and the steps to go solve it within 5 minutes. So remember this, 555 as you leave. So a couple of quick slides on how it all works. As I said, it is not easy to deliver these kind of guarantees if you just built a shim on top of an LLM. At Nubird, we believe context is the key. Context is the real moat here. Context is the real thing that enables. And we have built an agent context platform. It comes with, an engine called Agent Context Engine, which is our reasoning engine that pulls together a lot of context and dynamic reasoning skill sets and, and alert intelligence and, preventive analysis on top of our context layers. It has our context layers as all the context, all the object models that an enterprise infrastructure would run. It could be a vCenter. It could be a Kubernetes. It could be a cloud control plane. It could be databases. It could be storage products. It could be networking products. We have built a rich set of context layers over the last 2 years of deep research. We've also built tools that can work with them in a sandbox secure mode and skills that can look at them. Plus, the most important thing, the most hidden thing, and something that most enterprises struggle with is tribal knowledge. You have a developer, you have a senior engineer who knows everything about your infrastructure and can leave, and you can't do much. You're no longer as productive as you are. So now you can bring those tribal knowledge, that enterprise knowledge in, and it becomes a layer in our context layer. It's like a memory. It's like a layer in our brains, and that powers our reasoning engine. And we extended that to Falcon Claw, to an OpenClaw-based Skills Hub, and we make that available to our UI through our Falcon desktop, through MCP servers so your other agents can interact with us, and through Slack and Teams integration. And it runs on top of about 50 different sources. I can, it'll take another 30 minutes to list all of them, but name any telemetry provider, name any observability platform, name any logging service, we run on top of them, all of them, and pull together this context. And that is what gives this agent its personality, its skills, and the accuracy to deliver the results it is delivering today. And we also just announced a phenomenal funding round that is oversubscribed. Zora Innovation is the lead investor. They're an arm of Temasek. And of course, our current investors also participated, Mayfield, Microsoft, M12 Ventures, as well as Prosperity 7, which gives us a staying power to continue to work with you all and build great products and deliver to you at scale. Just kind of want to show all of this. And if you want to learn more or meet the Falcon, please go to booth 202. We have the Falcon experience, both the bird and the agent, all at the same time. All right, thanks for joining me. Thank you so much.